Hi, everyone. It's Howie here. Friday, January 3rd. Happy New Year. Love that music and get going a little bit, right? Beautiful mountain. So, I haven't been on in about 10 days. I think it was Christmas Eve or the 23rd. I'm not sure, the last show. And, I decided to really just pull back. And then, of course, we were posting, shorts and videos and stuff. But as far as live, so it's really important. It's really important these 12 days of Christmas, right? Because Christmas begins, of course, the vigil of Christmas, December 24th at sunset, and we begin, a great 12-day journey. And it's really important to pull back this time of year and to remember that it's not just one day. It's such a big occurrence. I mean, the history of the world, our dates, everywhere we look, the date 2024, 2025 now is marked by this significant birth of a man, whether we acknowledge him as God or not. You have to acknowledge that his birthday, roughly, okay, people get stuck on when it was this day or that day, and whether it's a man-made feast. Listen, let's be clear about something. There's one thing that's not man-made. There was a man named Jesus. He was born roughly 2,000 years ago. In Scripture, in Scripture, the canon of Scripture, recognized by billions of people. His birth is the account of his birth takes place. Yes, God did not tell us to have a feast specifically, but to acknowledge the birth of this very significant human being, especially if you believe he's God, I think is appropriate. So that said, and if you don't believe he's God, then the significance of this man, the turning of time, if you will, from BC to AD, and whether it's before Christ or before the Common Era, it doesn't matter. Everything's marked by this man's birth. All right, that said, I'm not going down that path. Happy New Year. I'm excited. I'm not going to be here long. All right. I just got a little bit to talk to you about. And then we're going to shut down for the weekend and enjoy the last few days. On Monday, we're back strong. The live show is really exciting. I want to talk to you about the show, and I want to thank you, because what we've been seeing is that, and by the way, let me make sure that everything's working here. That's one of the keys here. We're trying to keep it really down to earth, and the production is high. The production is great as far as the quality of the audio and visual. But what we're doing is we're keeping it real, okay? And we're not going to rely on bells and whistles, okay? So part of that is making sure everything's working as we go. That's why we call it the live radio show, okay? Howie Radio Live. And so let me check. Let me just make sure. Here we go. That Howie Hain is online here. Yeah, and we're good. All right. All right. So thank you for the show. Thank you for tuning in. The audience is exciting. Okay. So I want to give you pull the veil back a little bit. What's going on behind the scenes. So we started about August. I think it was like August 2nd when we kind of made this shift to this channel. And so it's 5 months, almost to the day. And we're really excited because what's happening is you want to grow incrementally. That's real growth. And you want your audience to be when I get a lot of email. By the way, comments are great, emails are fantastic. Some people send right email. If you go on the YouTube page, under the description, there's our email. Okay. And you can send an email. And it's wonderful to hear people say they're watching while they're running or while they're working in the office or in the kitchen. And that's, to watch the show, fine, great, wonderful. But to listen is the most important, right? So that's, again, Howie Radio Live. So this is our atmosphere. It's a radio station. We're in the cockpit here. Culture, and it's really important now that this is the new year. In a sense, we're really launching, and it's culture. I always define culture in my own way as our relationship with our community. And somebody asked me recently who likes the show and has been suggesting content, and that's great. I mean, I love it. I love because it's a dialogue. Obviously, it doesn't seem like a dialogue because it's just me talking. Okay, and we're going to have guests on soon, and we're going to have live calls, and of course, feel free to join the chat, and we'll do what we can to pull up comments. But why is it a dialogue? Because whether I do most of the talking on camera or not, it's the response afterwards and before, and then there's ongoing back and forth, and a dialogue being that we listen to each other, that we pay attention. And if I look at and somebody said, so this gentleman said to me, what do you think is your area that you're covering? Like kind of like your demographics or your niche, And it's like I don't know. The show's about? It's about me. Okay. Now that sounds really egotistical, but wait. And it's not about me. And what I mean by that is it's what I'm interested in. Okay. I speak about what I'm interested in. I'm not purposely going to follow trends or what's in the news. I mean, a lot of times they do overlap because you look at the news, you watch Real Clear Politics, you see what's going on in the other cultural dimensions of because it's not just politics, and you say to yourself, "Oh, that's interesting to me." So, what's interesting to me? But this is the caveat is that we want to develop an audience where that's interesting to you as well. So it's this combination. Okay. So it's about me, what I'm interested in, because we know there are other people who are interested in the same things. And so I guess it is important to kind of where are we coming from? Well, I mean, I'm a New Yorker, and I think that's become apparent through the show. I do come from, I guess, a New York mentality. I am a Christian. I'm a Catholic Christian, but of course, I love discussing religion and the nature of the spiritual life in all dimensions. My academic background's really in philosophy and in writing. I'm a coach. I love athletics. Um, I would say a classic liberal, not a liberal in the sense of Democratic, progressive liberal in the sense of Democratic Party. No, a classic liberal in the sense that I really believe in trying to be open-minded and the court of the Gentiles mentality, which is you're mingling with everyone, and we live in a pluralistic society, and we need to embrace and go back. You need to stand firm in what you believe in, but we have to be open. In terms of education, I believe in the classical approach, the Greco-Roman approach, where you look at language, you really put emphasis on logic, philosophy, the meaning of words, the value of literature in our life and poetry, of course, in music. What else? So I think also in terms of American U.S. politics, I'm a constitutional conservative. I guess I would fall into the category of conservative in the sense of what they would. I don't really want to say that because conservative means to me it's like a restrictive. No, it means that there are principles that I adhere to, and I believe that the country is anchored to. And if they're not anchored to it, it's going to float away, as we've seen recently. Now, I think big correction is taking place. So constitutional. So what do we anchor to? Anchor to the constitutional. Constitution is a magnificent document, and I think if you follow this wave of the Greco-Roman into the European influence and of course the Catholic Church, and then the Renaissance and Reformation take place and brings in this other emphasis, and then you have these great political thinkers who the founding fathers here in the United States look to for their ideas and put them together into this, as manifest mostly in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And that's what we live and breathe by. Okay. So this is all this train of thought. And I think part of that beautiful American experiment, the American experiment we're in, is that we're also a nation of agriculture. We're a nation of Great Plains. We're a nation of diverse people, but we're also a nation of cities. And I didn't realize just how important New York is to me. And again, and when I say New York, of course, the whole New York area, which encompasses New Jersey and Connecticut and Rhode Island and in parts of Pennsylvania, you've got this northeast to Manhattan area and expanding outward. It's a way of life. Of course, you could be living in California, you could be living in Australia right now, you can live anywhere and listen to the show, and I hope you do. But that guy, he asked me that question. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's where I'm coming from. But it's not limited to that. So that's where I begin. And we all have a journey. We all have a fingerprint, a footprint from where we stand, and we look at our relatives. I have a diverse background in terms of Austrian and German and Irish and Native American, all these, who knows? I haven't done ancestry.com, but this is kind of what I'm told I'm coming from, and several generations of New Yorkers. All right. So what is the key here on January 3rd, 2025? It's renewal. Okay. That is where my heart is today. My heart is in a spirit of which makes sense, right? New Year's resolution, beginning again. So it's not anything profound off the tracks. It's more that how do we grab this stuff and hold on to it? A spirit of renewal, New Year renewal, of redemption, of consecration, of commitment, of courage. There's so many great words that begin with the letter C. All right, so I'm not talking about politics today. That's going to happen at the great big election. We've had this interesting time period of Biden's last weeks in office, Trump transitioning, the team coming together, the inauguration, some terrible events with New Orleans and other things, all taking place during end of Advent into Christmas season, New Year, winter, the season of dying, or at least or hidden life, of dying and hidden life. There it is, because things are underground, right? And they're getting ready to come back up. In my personal life, it's a season of I've shared publicly of this. My wife is undergoing cancer treatment, and that's a personal journey that I just have to say, because it's, how could you sit here? How could you sit in how could somebody come up to you anywhere you're, how you doing? You either have to just say nothing regarding something substantial like that in your life, which is awkward. It may be appropriate if it's a very little exchange. How you doing? Good, good. See you later. But if anybody that you know at all, I mean, how do you not keep? So, as my friends, as people that I want to hear from, of course, I have to talk about my personal life. I have to. And she's doing well, and I'm proud of her. She's so strong. It's amazing. And I have a message for anybody dealing with particularly cancer or life, life altering illness or a situation. Allow God to bless you through it, because he really does. He really gives you an opportunity to consolidate. There it is, like renew, redeem, consolidate the essence of your life. What's important to you? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be with? I was talking to my daughter who's in high school, and I'm watching her exciting young life change and transform. And anybody who's being raised to be an expansive life is going to have moments of change and alterations taking place. And we were discussing that it's very important to trust that the heart. Make sure your heart's clean and pure. You have to do that by asking God to clean it and remove things that are distractions. And we have a prayer: remove all things that are not of you, Lord, and embolden all that are. Right. And so you try to have a clean heart, ask for a clean heart, and then trust your heart. You go where it's warm. If you're talking to somebody regularly and you just get a bad feeling after you talk to them, you feel worse about yourself, it's probably not a good relationship. Of course, there might be a moment here and there you fight with somebody or argue, and okay, you can't judge, one event. But over time, how does that person, do they help you to are they healthy for you? Do they make you, do they give you life? Do they put more life? Nobody gives you life but God, but do they help encourage you to embrace life and to have an expansive existence? It's always about expanding. So what is healthy? What is good? Life is good. And what is life? Life is expansive. It's growing. And don't ever mistake it for just the arc of like the physical life. Young, you're growing, adult, you're in the prime of your life, and then you start to come down, middle age, and then death. Or even your career, you're growing, your prime influence, and then that influence comes down. Well, yes, in those cases, it's ups and downs, but everything's expansive, because even the physical may be coming down, but your breadth, the width of your human nature is expanding. Your mind, you may not be out in the arena as much anymore, competing, but you're reflecting, you're meditating. And that's a great question for January 3rd. Is your life expanding? Is it expanding in the truest sense? Or have we become restricted? That's why I don't like the word conservative, because I don't think conservatives are restricted people. They want to expand rapidly and in a powerful way. It's just that they know if they're not anchored to something, they can fly off into outer space, and you don't want to just drift off and end up where there's no oxygen and no way back. Okay, so that's what conservative is. It's the idea that you want to fly, but the humility of knowing that you can get lost encourages you to embrace wisdom, and that's to anchor yourself to what will properly anchor you. All right, so I want to talk about from that to something very specific today, and this is an example of the show. There is a wrestler who interests me, and wake up in the morning, I look at real politics, and lately I'm not looking at politics. It's not interesting to me, and I go with that. I'm not going to force it, because there's always something interesting. What's interesting is that my daughter last night said to me, "Do you want to watch the Chance movie?" His name is Chance Marsteller, and FloWrestling is a great new site, Flow Sports, and they have a separate categories in FloWrestling, and he's a Olympic style wrestler. And I'm going to show you the trailer. I'm not going to tell you what happened. You'll see in the trailer. You'll get the point. And I'm not going to discuss. But I think it. When my daughter asked, I said, "Yeah, and she's not a wrestler." And we sat. She's a great athlete, but we watched it, and to watch her learn from this journey, a story of redemption and power. So let me play that for you, okay? And I think you're going to enjoy it. So here we go. Share, Chance, share, and expand. Here we go.
You ready? Wrestling is an extreme sport. I'm an extreme person.
I remember hearing about Chance when he was in middle school because he was entering college opens and winning matches.
He was like an urban legend.
And he became mythological at that point.
Then he hits the high school stage and runs through everybody.
He was a phenom from the time that he first stepped on the mat.
He almost has it down to a science, almost.
But it definitely came at a price.
I was an opioid addict. I was addicted to fentanyl.
How difficult.
I don't want to go back.
If this kid's a hammer on the mat, he's probably crazy off as well.
Why is somebody from jail calling me?
There was rumors about Chance.
7 years probation?
I don't think anyone thought it was going to be as bad as it was.
He can fucking tape you as soon as he wants. Stand down and shut up.
As far as Chance hiding things, I'll be honest with you, he was great at it.
I didn't know probation lasted that long. Like, if she was that bad as shit, I thought you got thrown in jail.
This isn't the guy that I thought Chance Marsteller was.
He showed up with a backpack and just looked like a shell of himself.
This is where the story of me fighting 6 police officers comes about.
He gets arrested. It's very, very bad.
Most people have given up on me at this point.
He hit rock bottom at that point.
Yeah, I don't think it's a stretch to say that Chance Marsteller is the greatest example of human triumph in the history of our sport.
The rise and then the fall and then the come up, that's a great story. And people need to hear that.
I was starting to see Chance again.
This dude's in my way of winning a world title, and that was the goal that I wrote down when I was a little kid, was win a world title. Olympic gold medal.
His wrestling IQ is off the charts. I appreciated that.
The little kid Chance is back.
Let's go, Chance!
You thought you won, and now you're in a huge hole against the greatest American wrestler of all time.
I took that personally.
That was my advice to him, was give yourself a chance.
Chance was becoming this hero. It was almost like Rocky.
Don't fool yourself, kid. You're going to come back in here just like everybody else.
You prepared for this. You chose this. You meticulously prepped and arrived at this moment.
Training for the opportunity to beat Jordan Burroughs to represent the United States, it was ingrained in his mind.
I'm going to keep tracking you down until I get you.
Surprises at every turn of this final X.
Can you make it back? I don't know. No one's ever told me they did.
All right. That's you know, when he said in that trailer, be Olympic champ, that's what I wrote down when I was a kid. I nearly started to cry there. There's something about dreaming, isn't there, right? There's something about wanting to do something great, right? And people going for it, and here's a guy who gets completely lost. Who comes back from heroin, opioid? Who comes back? It comes back and defeats probably the greatest wrestler in U.S. history, one of the greatest in the world ever. Watch it; it's good. And watch it. If you're not a wrestler or a wrestling fan, watch it. It's these stories. It's like it honestly gets me emotional. And part of this show, by the way, is I talked about where we're coming from, politically and socially and geographically. It's also where we're coming from as humans. I think the other thing that I love is that people listening to the show, that they also share the human element of that. We make mistakes, sometimes big mistakes. Sometimes we get lost and we squander. And what do we do with that? And I got that. I relate to Chance Marsteller, not in the circumstances of a drug addiction, but the feeling of what do you do when you had something and you feel you lost it, especially when you wasted it. What do you do? Do you wallow in it? Do you open that door? He opened the door to recovery, right? Do we open the door to a redemption and to be rejuvenated and say like you can't go, like say if if he was just too old to come back with wrestling, you always can come back. You can come back by just embracing the squander, right? And learning that lesson and come back with wisdom to pass on to the next generation. As a father, and this is the other where we're coming from. Where is the show coming from? What makes it real? And I think it is real. And people should listen. There's something cool about this. I have to say. I'm saying that. I'm trying to say that with humility. I really am. But there's something that I feel inspired by doing all this, because I think there is this energy that I felt throughout my life that is converging here, and just the freedom to be like, you know what, Chance Marsteller is inspiring me, and that's why I want to talk about it. Not whether it's trending or not. No, that's it. If one person's inspired, chances are, right? Chances are, Johnny Mathis. Chances are others are. Others are. It's not even chances are. They are. So you unite that group of people together that are looking for a message of redemption and power and dreaming and culture and these constitutional, conservative, classic, liberal, classical education, Greco-Roman, Catholic, Christian, Judeo-Christian founding, spiritual pursuit, something bigger than ourselves is so much, but then yet it's all encompassing. Who's not involved? Who's not a member of this audience? I love it, guys. What I'm going to do, though, I'm going to cut it short. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away with my bride and my child, and we're going to have a beautiful weekend. And we're going to come back Monday, and we're going to embrace what's next. Who knows? Just embrace what's interesting to me, because it's not me. It's what's interesting to us. What's interesting to you? Tell me. Send the emails. Let's really start that dialogue. Please subscribe, and please comment, and please like, and please share. It really makes a difference. And it's about that audience growing of substantial people. It's not just to invite them, just everybody come to the dinner party. No, like who's coming to the dinner party? Come, sit, and eat with us. Drink with us. Be merry. Be real. Be open. Make mistakes. Admit them. Move on and move forward. I love it. I always say this at the end, and I mean it. I don't know. I don't always say it, but when it comes out, I love you guys. I just love it. I love this. I love life. And I ask the Lord to bless you and bless us and to keep us and to shine his face upon us and to help us to be better fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters and children and grandparents and coaches and teachers and step into the moment the Lord is giving you to make a difference. Be the Christ in that moment. I love this expression. I love it. To me, it's one of those moments when it came together in my brain this way, like we have to be a Christ, right? A Christ in this time and place. And that man 2,000 years ago is the Christ in all times, in all places. Again, be a Christ in whatever time and place you're in, because you're the only one in that time, in that place, sharing in the Christ, Jesus the Christ, in all times, in all places. And this is for everybody in every religion. Anybody who's just an active, intelligent participant in this awesome journey of life, the adventure. I want to wrestle, right? I want to wrestle. I want to dance. I want to sing. I want to laugh. All right. Goodness, I can go on, right? All right. Have that great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. And God bless you. Take care.